The watch stopped working 3 years ago. You still wear it. Not because you fixed the movement, you never did. Because your father wore it for 31 years before he handed it to you in a hospital parking lot and said almost nothing. And you've never once taken it off since. Not even the year you could have bought the watch company. Tonight you're standing in a closet the size of the first apartment you ever rented, choosing between two jackets that cost more than that apartment's monthly rent. And your wrist still has the same dead watch on it. And you're doing the same math you did at 22. Is this actually worth it, or does it just look like it is? The watch never changed, just what it costs to look away from it. Level 0, net worth, 1, 340. You are 22, and luxury is a word you use sarcastically. Your version of it is the extra $1.40 for real butter instead of the tub stuff, spent maybe twice a month, always with a small flicker of guilt attached, like you've gotten away with something you shouldn't have. Your friend Grant buys a watch that month, a real one, financed over 18 months at an interest rate neither of you says out loud. He wears it to work the next day, and 3 people ask about it, and you watch his whole posture change when they do, shoulders back, chin up, a man being looked at differently than he was looked at yesterday. You don't buy the butter that week. You put the $1.40 toward the watch's twin, the cheap version, the one that looks close enough from 4 feet away. You wear it for a month before you stop wearing it at all, because up close it doesn't look like anything, and you'd rather wear nothing than wear the tell. The first rule at 1,340 is luxury isn't about the object. It's about who's close enough to see the difference between the real one and the one that's just pretending to be. Level 1, net worth $28,600. You buy your first actual nice thing at 25, a jacket, 340 wool, the kind that's supposed to last 15 years if you take care of it. You try it on in the store 4 separate times before you buy it. You feel like an idiot standing in a fitting room, negotiating with yourself over a coat. Grant, meanwhile, has upgraded the watch, a real upgrade this time, financed again, always financed, and he's started talking about a car, not buying one, talking about one. The way you talk about a version of your life you haven't actually built yet, except Grant talks about it in the present tense, like it's already true. You wear the jacket to a dinner. Someone compliments it. You say thank you and change the subject fast, the way you do with anything that costs real money, like the compliment is a question you don't want to answer honestly. The watch never changed, just what it costs to look away from it. The second rule, at $28,600, you learn the specific discomfort of owning something nice and having no idea how to let people see it without also seeing you. Level 2, net worth, and 67,000. Somewhere in your early 30s, luxury stops being a single object and starts being a category you actually participate in. A flight upgraded with points you tracked for a year, a hotel with a real minibar you don't open on principle, dinner at the kind of restaurant that doesn't print prices next to the fish. Grant's watch situation has become a collection, 4 now, rotated by day of the week like it means something. He shows you the newest one at lunch, turns his wrist over twice so the light catches it, and asks what you think. You say it's nice. You mean it. You also notice, for the first time, that you're doing quiet math on what 4 watches actually cost versus what 4 watches are actually for. You upgrade the flight that year, business class for the first time, and you spend the first 40 minutes of the flight uncomfortable in the seat that's supposed to be comfortable, waiting for someone to tell you there's been a mistake. Nobody does. You fall asleep somewhere over Ohio, and when you wake up, you've stopped waiting. The third rule, at 167,000, the discomfort doesn't disappear. It just gets tired first, and you mistake the exhaustion for ease. Level 3, net worth, 940,000. You cross close to 1,000,000, and the math changes shape entirely. You're no longer asking whether you can afford the nice version of something. You're asking whether the nice version is actually worth the friction of owning it, the maintenance, the insurance, the specific anxiety of a beautiful car parked on a city street overnight. Grant crosses a similar number the same year, different industry, and buys the car he's been talking about since he was 25. Actually buys it this time cash, no financing. He picks you up in it. You notice he drives 11 miles under the speed limit the entire way, both hands at 10 and 2. Like the car is more fragile now that it's real than it ever was as a plan. You buy a watch that year too. Finally, the real version of the thing you tried to fake at 22. It cost 8 to 920. You wear it into the shower the first week by accident, twice, and check your wrist obsessively for a month afterward. The way you would check a wound. The watch never changed, just what it cost to look away from it. The fourth rule, at $940,000, you stop buying things to be seen and start buying things you're now afraid to lose, which is a completely different kind of expensive. Level 4, net worth, 400,000. This category shifts again. Luxury stops being objects almost entirely and becomes something closer to time. A driver instead of a car, a person who packs your bag instead of you packing it, a restaurant that seats you without a reservation because you've been seated there enough times to not need one anymore. Grant hasn't crossed into this tier, and for the first time, the gap between you sits at the table without either of you naming it. He tells a story about his car, still the same one, still babied, and you realize you haven't thought about a car's maintenance schedule in 2 years because you no longer have to. Your father's watch, the dead one, comes up in a conversation with someone you've just met, a man wearing something that costs more than your first house. He asks why you don't get it fixed. You say you like it broken. He doesn't understand the answer, and you don't try to make him. The fifth rule, at $4,100,000, luxury stops being something you buy and starts being something other people buy on your behalf, which changes what the word even means. Level 5, net worth, $19,000. Past a certain point, the objects stop mattering almost entirely, and what you're actually paying for is the absence of friction, a house managed by people you've never met, a schedule that adjusts around you instead of the other way around, a plane that leaves when you're ready instead of when the board says. Grant calls that you're genuinely happy for you and asks what it's actually like. You try to explain and realize there isn't much to explain. Most days look exactly like they did 5 years ago, just with fewer small annoyances stacked on top of them. He seems disappointed by the answer, like he wanted a better story than the one you actually have. You buy your father's watch a matching pair that year, the same model, restored, running perfectly, a gift for no occasion. You wear the broken one anyway. The working one sits in a drawer. You've stopped being able to explain that decision to anyone, including yourself, except that the broken one is the one that's actually his. The watch never changed, just what it costs to look away from it. The sixth rule, at 19,000, luxury has fully stopped being about what you own and started being about what you no longer have to think about, which sounds like freedom and mostly feels like quiet. Level 6, net worth, $80,000 and beyond. Somewhere past this line, the word luxury stops applying to anything you'd actually recognize as a purchase. It becomes access, a seat at a table most people don't know exists, an opinion that changes outcomes before you finish stating it, a version of privacy so complete that nobody photographs you doing ordinary things because you're never in ordinary places anymore. Grant isn't in this tier, and you both know by now he won't be, and the friendship has settled into something quieter and more honest than it was at 22. Not smaller, just no longer competing over anything either of you can name. He still wears a watch every day. You've noticed he stopped rotating them years ago. He wears the same one now, the one from the beginning, the 18-month financing one, the first real thing he ever bought. You ask him once why that one, specifically, out of everything he's owned since. He looks at his wrist for a second before he answers. Says it's the only one that ever actually meant anything, back when it was the whole plan instead of a small part of a much bigger one. You think about the dead watch on your own wrist. You don't say anything, you don't have to. The seventh rule, past 80,000, Luxury finally reveals what it was always secretly measuring. Not what you can afford, but what you've decided is still allowed to mean something, even after you can afford almost everything else. The watch stopped working 3 years ago. You still wear it tonight, choosing between two jackets and a closet the size of your first apartment, doing the same math you did at 22. Is this actually worth it, or does it just look like it is? Somewhere right now, someone your age is putting back the real butter for the cheap tub stuff, saving $1.40 toward a watch they can't afford yet, certain that the difference between the two will change something. It will. Just not the thing they think. The watch never changed. Just what it costs to look away from it.